Right, so welcome back to Room 1-on-1 with the Homeboys, and it's our last of the year and a big one, of course, with our nasty neighbours fresh from a week off. The forces of darkness have cast their shadow on the slopes of paradise, and we entertain their Rangers FC on Saturday. So to help me have a wee look and see what's in store for us, I have a new guest to the show. Now, I was going to say, I've put down former co-host of the 20-minute Tims.
No.
What we use?
By the minute Celtic.
So you fucking by the minute sales. Do you know what? I'm leaving that in. I was going to edit that out. Fuck it. Right, so are you done?
I think so, aye.
See the fact that you fucking think so.
Well, he can't be arsed, so it'll be a I bet you, I see if we win on Saturday, it'll be like, do you want to come on and do a quick podcast? And I'll be like, I'm in the fucking pub. You know, it's like it's no deed. It'll probably be one a year or something like that.
Ah, right. So ultimately, he's are like fucking special ones. Oh, remember us, and everybody tells you how great he's are and all that. Remember all that? Aye. See, because we don't every week, every cunt thinks we're shite. You know what I mean? You're also an infrequent guest on the Celtic Underground pod. You're a member of the Celtic Twitterati. You're a former Kerrydale Street FC defensive stalwart and a fucking all-round great guy. Chris Donnelly, a.k.a. Remy McSwain on Kerrydale Street Forum and a.k.a. Rodney Farmer on Twitter, and plenty of other fucking names you've been called over the years. How do I find you, my friend?
By you in the huddle board.
That's aye, good man. So how do I find you?
Aye, good, Scotty. Quite happy with yesterday's result, and I'm also very happy with the snow hitting the Highlands and them no getting to play today. I think that's a really good thing. We'll talk about that later.
Because I was wondering, because I never even knew the game was off. I went up to pick up a few things for a family member, and my brother-in-law's a Rangers man, and I was like, you didn't hear through you running the booze? I was like, game's off, and I was like, he seemed delighted about it. But as I say, we'll come back to it, right? So tradition on the show, as you know, mate, is a new guest come on and they tell us a wee bit about themselves. So who's Chris Donnelly, and more importantly, why are you a Tim?
I'm a Tim, obviously, because of my family. All my uncles, my dad, my granddads, all Celtic fans, passed down. No choice, no matter. I'm delighted about it.
Mm-hmm.
First game, 1971.
71.
Beat Clyde 9-1. I thought it was going to be all like that. My first away game was that season. Clyde away at Shawfield, New Year's Day.
Right.
7-0. It was like,
this football game's easy.
This is brilliant, man. This is brilliant. And then you start getting into the shitey games, but yeah, but we were a good team then. So, you know, my hero was Dalglish, getting to first player I ever asked for his autograph. But I met him at 50 pitches, and he signed. I've still got his autograph. I was gutted when he left. I was 13, and that was absolutely gutted, which is why I didn't get as bad about Larsson going, because I'd seen my childhood hero, Ofsky. Although Larsson going was bad, but, you know, through the ups and downs, I was very lucky that in the 90s, I suppose it sounds terrible, but in the 90s, I was playing amateur football, so I missed a lot of their 9 in a row, which was no a bad thing. Although I went to every game I could, or games that were on the telly, I would go to. We were absolutely fucking shite, as you know. Martin O'Neill is one of my all-time heroes. Totally turned it around. One of the few managers I would actually listen to speaking to, because I just thought, this guy is just fucking brilliant. He knows what he's doing. He's put them in their box. Couldn't believe we lost at Motherwell. I thought he would go out with the title. But in those days, not only were we dominant domestically, we were brilliant in Europe, which has been a real bone of contention for the last 20 years, because we're utter shite in Europe now. And I'd hardly go to away games now in Europe, because it's like, I'm not paying £500 to see us getting pumped. So,
And then you fling in the snash now of fucking getting treated like an absolute fucking plant for no trying in games.
Totally. I mean, I know. I mean, I think you were in Rome and you get treated like shite. My pals never even get into the game.
Oh,
and it's like, and the thing is, the place is in the middle of nowhere, as you know, and where are you going to go to watch it?
Exactly.
We get treated like shite domestically, but you know.
But we saw that yesterday. I mean, I'd say fortunately or unfortunately, once you're in the game, we were in the main stand, so our queue wasn't as fucking mental as everybody else's. But I mean, how long? That was like 5 minutes to go, wasn't it? And the queue was round the corner, way doing fucking by down Tannadice. Garbage.
Yep.
Garbage.
I know, and they opened at 2 o'clock, and you know you get in, and there's folk everywhere, and the steps in that main stand were like a fucking death trap. I had there for 10 years, the Riot game. I hadn't been in the main stand, I forgot what it's like. And the steps are about that.
Steps are about that size, and they were in the fucking. I was laughing, and then the lassie. We were row A, and the steps fucking massive, right? So nobody's stalling on us. And we're kind of, we're about that far out of the fucking, and she's going, you need to get back in. And I was like, fucking hell, man. And my mate's no a wee guy, do you know what I mean?
So long-term fan, been going for, well, Christ, 52 years I've been going to see Celtic. Go home and away most games still where I can get a ticket. I mean, obviously, don't go to Ibrox. Tarps is getting a bit of a problem. Aberdeen as well, but whatever game I can get to, I go to. Yeah. I mean, I miss a few season like every day, but you know, been more or less a lot more successful years than shite years. Let's be honest about that.
Decent credentials, my man. Decent credentials you've got there. I'm laughing you were talking about Martin O'Neill. Well, it's interesting you talk about Kenny Dalglish, right? So I don't have the love for Kenny Dalglish because obviously I missed him as a Celtic player. And then, so my dad, I don't know the best way, he doesn't hate, but he kind of resents football players. And there's a famous story that my uncle was going to batter Kenny Dalglish because he bumped him for a jacket. But that's not the point here, right? So it was... So Kenny Dalglish, remember back in the day, Kenny Dalglish came up and said, I like Blackburn of all teams as well. And then he went back and he started working with Rangers. And I was like, fuck this guy, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, the day he got the job in Ibrox, was it Chief Scout or something like that, or Worldwide?
Super Scout, son.
Through the Carnegie operation, and I was in Heritage when it broke out. And I said to one of the boys, a boy called Neely Graham, people who drink in Heritage or have played football with Heritage know Neely. And I says to Neely Graham, I was like, fuck's sake, I had pictures of him in my wall when I was away, and he says, I've still got them. So you're like,
I mean, I've got to admit, the older
I get why younger folk, include you in that, Scotty, remember him going to the Huns and then remember his Barnes year.
Yeah, and totally, he sued Celtic and all that. So, but
I only judge him as a player. I don't judge him as a manager. He was awful when he was here, but as a football player, he's second to none for us.
It's funny. I mean, I've done that podcast with VWCF, and I've kind of got a wee friendship with the big man now. And when I was just chatting to him about the fucking sitting at Baird's Bar doing it, I mean, he's sitting going, fucking hell.
I know.
Madness. But as I get older, I lose. You know yourself, you lose a bit of fucking hate for everything, didn't you? When you get older, you're like, what's the fucking point? And
I still fucking hate. I mean, we'll get on to them. No, I hate.
Oh no, but I'm just talking Kenny Dalglish. See, when I talk to guys like you, and I sit with guys I really respect and their opinion, and they go, "That was my hero." I kind of do ease off and. I mean, he never talks to anybody at Celtic, so...
No, he doesn't know. I mean, even when he signed for Liverpool, I think his debut was a Charity Shield, and he got interviewed right after the game, because of course, he was this guy down for Scotland, he was going to fail. Game one, he's man of the match, and everybody's like...
Is that right? Is it? Aye.
Bargain, yeah. And it was like, because who could replace the great Kevin Keegan, right? So... was a Charity Shield, and he gets interviewed after it, and he says to the guy, "What was the Celtic score?"
Is he?
The guy, I think he says it was 1 each or 0-0. I can't remember. It was, and he said it was with Dundee United, and it was a draw, and he went, "No, that can't be right. We don't draw with Dundee United, right?" So even then, he was still giving it big licks about Celtic. I mean, he had to go. It's the horrible thing is, and he was there for 10 years. It wasn't as if he was there for a year and a half. He was there for 10 years. He wanted.
So was it 7 years in the first team, wasn't it?
Aye. And he wanted to do something in Europe, and he went away. And within a season, he scored the winning goal in a European Cup final. So, whether we like it or no, he did the right thing for himself.
The frustrating thing for us is we know there's a glass ceiling, and especially the way, as you say, if you fling into the European thing into the glass ceiling, even there is much lower even there. So we were talking last night, fuck me, we were away on a tangent already. Talking last night, we're in the boozer and the Aston Villa game was on. And we're talking about the John McGinn, right? And I really hate getting into who we coulda, woulda, shoulda and stuff like that. But I asked the question, I says, do you think if John McGinn had came to Celtic at that period and hit the ground running as he did down in England, do you think he'd still be ways now?
No, he wouldn't have.
Nah, that's...
I would twist it. I don't think when we try to sign John McGinn, he would have been a regular.
He would.
So I don't think he'd get in front of Brown or McGregor at that time. But maybe he would have. And
you could have ended up with the same situation you've really got with David Turnbull, even though I think McGinn's a far superior player to David Turnbull. David Turnbull's a very good player, but he's just went like that, Celtic, isn't he? And he's just going to go somewhere else.
He's going to go somewhere else next month. I mean, I don't know where. Interesting to see. A non-running centre midfielder's an over 40s game. I just don't know. I don't know where he'll go, but good luck to him. He's done all right for us, but he's never kicked on. And he's never going.
That's a different pod, right. So you know the Hampden Road anyway, right? So tradition would usually get through. I usually touch on your knowledge of your team, and we go back and look last season, but it's the cunts. So we'll fly through it. We'll fly through it. We'll have a laugh as it goes, but we'll no fucking linger on end, right? Okay, so. Rangers kicked off last season with the Scottish Cup and the trophy. It's not even the trophy room anymore. It's a trophy backpack, I'm calling it. Right, and they've got that penalty defeat by Eintracht Frankfurt in the Europa League final sitting in the memory. Van Bronckhorst started his first pre-season at Rangers dugout. Decent start of the season saw them rock up at Celtic Park on the 3rd of September. 2 points behind us after a Easter road a few weeks earlier. A League Cup quarter-final berth secured, and massively a UEFA Champions League group place after disposing of Belgians, Union and Dutch runners-up PSV. Now, as I remember that, I mean, they're 2 points behind, but the PSV one, you were like, fucking hell, man, these aren't that bad, I mean.
I was quite surprised about that. I mean, I was surprised they got to the Europa League final. I mean, they bored, delighted they lost, obviously. And I thought PSV would pump them in the qualifiers. I mean, they were lucky to get by the Belgians. If the Belgians if their keeper hadn't had a mare at Ibrox, they would have strolled it. But I thought PSV would take them out. Very, very surprised they got through that. Against Hibs, the game they threw it away. I think that was they get 2 sent off. Morelos gets sent off and Lundstrom, I think. But anyway,
so he did, yes. He conceded 2 late goals. Right, yeah.
Scored an injury time. So you're thinking, man,
that boy Kolak was scoring a lot of goals at the time.
He was their new super striker for the penalty box, and he scored the winner against PSV. So you're thinking, maybe I'm underestimating them. I'm the same as you. I start for a baseline that they're absolutely fucking shite, and then work my way down. But always the week before the game, you go, well, they've had a few no bad results. Maybe he's a better credit for. I mean, Tavernier's good going forward, but can't defend, right? But I was really confident before that game, just because I just didn't see them doing anything to us at Parkhead. I just could not see it.
And we did look, unlike practically all this season, we looked like a proper team who were ready to take on the world at that point.
We did. I mean, we had a pretty settled team. Manager had been in for a year. He'd got the signings he wanted in the main, especially in the first two windows. Maybe that window. But we were a pretty settled team. Everybody knew their job. We knew we would attack them for the start, and we knew that with the 5 subs we can.
That's right. Good shout.
And we were always going to have the energy to finish the game. So, you know, I wasn't a Postecoglou fan when he got the job. Obviously, you know, and then, so I can't just sit here and lie because somebody will fucking dig me out. I think I lost 5,000 Australian followers on Twitter when he went to Spurs. But so I wasn't convinced when we got him. I had to be honest. I was all in and how thought he'd be a brilliant manager for us.
I still think he would have been as well.
So did I, you know, and you know, all the Postecoglou stuff about, you know, it was a complete fluke they got him, right? And I wasn't convinced, but he convinced me in domestic football over the first season. You mean after once he got them winning, and he changed the midfield, because the midfield we had up to Christmas, McGregor, Rogic, and Turnbull wasn't going to win the league, right? He changed 2 of that midfield in the transfer window, and
that's fair.
And we were a totally different animal after the January window, and we pissed the league. So I felt he knew what he was doing. The players had bought in. The crowd had totally bought into him. And we were set for a really good season. And I include the Champions League in that, because I thought we'd get a pretty reasonable draw that gave us a chance of getting 3rd place at worst. So I was looking forward to it. You know, I was really looking forward to last season. I thought, you know, sign a couple of transfer window and, you know, we're good to go. Don't think the transfer window was brilliant, but we still had a good first 11/16.
I think especially for this game, 3rd of September, I don't think we'd have played the Champions League at this point. You were boys out, weren't you? And sure enough, as we say, we fucking battered them. And and like you just said there, we set the tone for the season for us and them that day. Didn't we? We skited them, but you were freaking out. No freaking out. They're a bit fucking over dramatic. But do you remember we battered them 3-0 under Ange? The first one, Parky didn't hang it. And the second off, you were like, fucking don't give up, let's keep hitting them. And then we got that goal with your man kicked the tumble and that.
We did. It's like, you know, when we horsed them in the 3-0 game, and when we went, that was the day we went. I think we went top of the league that night.
Yep.
So
February,
at 3-0 at half time, I think it was 3-0 after about 20 minutes.
That's right.
And we could have slaughtered them, but we did take the foot off that night. And of course, they won the second half when Ryan Jack hit the bar. But they still had hope, although, when I say that, the more sensible ones, if that's no a sort of contradiction in terms, had started in the, I think we'll just concentrate in Europe this year.
Aye.
They knew they weren't going to catch us in the league. There are smart ones who know, right? So I think that sent out a massive message, you know, that we absolutely pumped them. Then we gave them an absolute doing. We've got these guys like Rio who you know rips them apart. Abada does his usual sneak in at the back, but they all know
wild man.
And the place went bonkers. I mean, it was mental. I mean, I think that was it. Was that the first game that there was none of them in the ground? They weren't there. They didn't have anybody there that night, did they? I don't think so.
They didn't have anybody.
Father F, probably. But I mean, you're
no, they didn't have anybody in the 3-0 game.
Aye, all right, did they know? Right. No. Aye. Sorry, it's the 3-0 game I'm talking about. They named it at that game.
Right, sorry, my apologies.
You don't know what the atmosphere is going to be like, but the place went berserk. You know, and to me, it proved that we didn't need them there for an atmosphere, right? So I think you're right. That laid down the marker. We were going to win the league that year. And to be fair, I think they probably did put most of their eggs into Europe, which I'd have done if I was Van Bronckhorst, because at least they in theory had a chance of winning that. So they went for Europe and Scottish Cup. So they end up with a no bad season, and we end up with a better season, given the start we had. Because in September, there's no way these folk I think we're winning the league. Given where I think it was three losses and a draw in the first 7 games, it was like fucking hell. But after that, we took off.
No, it was 3 defeats, 3 wins.
3 and a draw, but there be no draw with Dundee United in the 7th game.
The 7th game, right? Ah, yes, you would have been right. So at home, man.
And then a draw, and you're like, he needs a win. He just needed a win to get, I think it was Aberdeen away. Got the win, late winner.
That's right,
boom.
Yeah.
Everything clicked. We started to win games. He got a new midfield in January, and we motored on. So
it's very pertinent. I know we're supposed to be talking about the Huns here, but it is very pertinent, as you say. He put everything in place relatively quickly. I mean, 6 months in a season is fucking pretty good to get your team. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, I think you're now seeing the failings of Joe Hart now because everything's no so settled. Do you know what I mean? Joe Hart and the Celtic team's fine. Joe Hart and the fucking erratic team.
Well, Joe Hart to me needs somebody like Starfelt who's aerially dominant. Yeah.
So he doesn't need to fucking exactly.
He's like the woman in front of me at the game yesterday. Come on, Joe, come out and get the cross. I'm like, you ever fucking seen him playing?
The whole stand's looking at him.
He's never going to come off his line. But Starfelt was aerially. I mean, Carter Vickers is one of my favourite players, but he's no tall for a centre half. He's no aerially dominant. Scales is 6'2", 6'3". He's no brilliant in the air. Starfelt was fantastic in the air. Was light defending and was great on the front post. And the defence, to be fair, has not been settled at all this season, which has not helped an erratic goalie.
Right, we're all in the fucking shop here. Let's get the fucking season out of the way, right? So
we're in the pub again.
By the way, I'm fucking thinking about cracking one now, man. Right, so they lumped on, and by the 12th of November, it was done for the domestic football and it was done for Gio. No, I laugh about it. I wouldn't call him Gio while he was a manager. I'd see we get the manager, he get pumped. I was like, oh, I'm Gio, fucking Gio. My brother, he lives in Norway. He used to live up in the Highlands, up near a place called Achilty up near Ullapool. Okay. So he wasn't home that often, but he was one time he was home. He's walking up Sutty Hall Street, the old Lumley's Greaves in the Sutty Hall Street. Yep.
Standing with his boy, and they were looking in the window at the strips, and he says to his boy, "What do you want one for your Christmas?" Aye. He says, "What name do you want in the back?" He goes, "Van Bronckhorst." He goes, "Can you not just go for Malls?" Fucking save me. So, although Van Bronckhorst, Gio, whatever, was a Hun, right? He was an all right one. As you know, right? So, he was an all right Hun. He wasn't like Jimmy Bell, total fucking hatred things, Celtic. And Van Bronckhorst was a decent guy. And he was also a very good football player, to be fair.
Oh, he was an excellent football player,
He was a very good football player. I think he not score in the 5-1 game when we gubbed him?
He scored the free kick, Oh, no, wait. He scored the 5-1 game. He scored the 5-1 game,
So he anyway, he came to watch Celtic because he was Henrik's pal and all
Henrik's pal, aye.
He didn't have that staunchness that goes into him, right? So I always thought he was a decent guy. Don't get me wrong, wanted him to fail miserably.
Of course, yeah.
And interestingly, where the Huns all went mental about him was that the horseshoe, the way he played football, the slow build-up, keep possession, which we'll come on to for this season.
Yeah.
But that's why he get emptied, because the football was tedious and they were dropping stupid points.
Well, it's interesting with him because I've heard it said recently that had they gave the money they gave to Beale to him, because sure, like I say, they qualified for the Champions League and then they tell them, there's no dough. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so but again, I shed no tears for Gio. So he was bumped as manager on the 21st of November and he was replaced a week later by Michael Beale, who at that point had allegedly already been planning his coup for weeks. despite already being in the QPR hot seat. So as the World Cup started, after 16 games, Rangers sat in second place. 11 games won, 3 defeats, 2 defeats, 3 draws, 37 goals scored, 16 conceded, 26 points on board, and more importantly, 9 points behind us. So that was about game 16. They were 11 ahead of Aberdeen. And see, when I give you the final places, I want to talk about the league, because I've got to think, last year was a fucking piss poor Scottish League, wasn't it? Like the standard, piss poor, man.
Awful. I mean, Hearts and Hibs last year were just atrocious. I mean, and Aberdeen never get going to the Robson the job, but they should never be manager. But he got them like 9th to 3rd or something like that. But
that's right.
The league was appalling last year.
It was really, but the standard just wasn't good. That's how when you hear your man coming out and going, Scottish football was shit, they're kind of going, I don't like hearing it, but okay.
That's right. He's right. I mean, if you watch a Hibs Hearts game tonight, you'll be like, what the fuck? I mean, it's just brutal.
Yeah. Anyway,
I mean,
so with Michael,
I try not watch a Scottish game unless it's us.
I like watching the Hearts Hibs game, but in general, it's not a good standard. I mean, if you're sitting and watch a Scottish game and it finishes nothing each, there's no danger it's a good nothing each. It's got to be fucking drastic, you know what I mean?
Absolutely no.
Right, so with Michael Beale in place, domestically, Rangers went on a very impressive run, winning all games of the remainder of the year, and then Celtic came to town. Early Celtic lead was pulled back early in the second half. Rangers leading 2-1, but a late Kyogo goal meant a share of the points on the day, and Celtic maintained that 9-point lead. Now, that was a fucking huge blow to Beale. Huge blow.
Absolutely. I mean, he was a mouthy fucker. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you take the respect for Van Bronckhorst, he was a good player. He'd achieved a lot in the game. He wasn't disrespectful about us. Whether he liked us or no, he didn't say anything bad about us. He was a professional guy. Beale, hanging
just
about the Loudon. Hanging about the Loudon, pretending he'd turned down Wolves when Wolves turned him down, going to a game when the manager's under pressure. An absolute wee fucker. And then all his loudmouth pish about being the brains of the operation and all that. And we'd never have lost the league if Steven Gerrard and I had stayed. He was very easy to dislike, let's be honest. And we had to not lose that game. Any momentum he had just to halt it, because they had to beat us to have a chance of winning the league. We didn't need to win, draw, fine. We got a draw, we got out, all good. And I think that did throw him a bit, because, that was, you've got to win the big games when you're, they'd won fuck all. The Champions League was hilarious. So I did watch other Scottish teams.
Scottish, they're quintessentially British.
That's hilarious. But Beale had taken I can still turn this round. There's still 2 cups in a league to play for. So he had to beat us. And he had to beat us in all of them to win any of them. So that was his first big chance to beat us and lay down a marker. And he got his tactics all wrong. He sat, when he went 2-1 in, he just sat there, played for a draw.
So he did,
Played for a 2-1. And, the cliche, we never stop. We were obviously going to get a chance. We got one, we took it. Great result for us.
It really was. I watched it in my mate's house, and not with any kind of I knew part, but I remember sitting with my head in my horns, kind of going like that, and I looked up and went, I think we're going to get I think we'll get a chance. I think we'll get a chance, boys, because as you said, we weren't really, but we were getting more into it. We were breaking away a bit better, and with the wee man. Because if you remember, Kyogo went through a wee bit of a slump with the Champions League, and then he came out there, not dissimilar to just now, to be honest. But as you say, a fucking great result for us.
Brilliant. And also as well, the last 2, when he was there in the winter transfer windows, we actually had players signed before January, and some of them were they were maybe coming for a different league, get finished, but they were signed and they were training with the team before January, which is why I like Hatate and Maeda could hit the ground running. So we knew, well, we've got a couple of new players, all right, they maybe didn't turn out as like we hoped.
No.
But, we're coming up to January now. We've got nobody signed.
Well, there's again, I'm sure we'll talk about that more. But it gave you, us as fans who watch Celtic go for the vast majority of our life, haven't taken 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. But at that point, we just seemed like a very well-run football club, and it gave you a confidence in them. As you say, Kobayashi turned out. I still think Kobayashi's as a player in him, but obviously the manager doesn't fancy him, so he might as well fuck off. You know what I mean? There's no use me fucking thinking somebody's a good player.
Right, but we can get money. I mean, he looked all right these first couple of games, but he kind of folded under pressure a bit. But he's no used to physical football. But if we can get our money back on him, fine.
100%. Exactly.
There's no point in having guys hanging about for 3-4 years, see their contract. They're never going to get a game.
Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly. So they would then dust themselves down again and pick up the points again, meaning that on the 8th of April, Rangers came to Celtic Park in a do-or-die tie. Despite the lead still being 9 points, it was an agreed logic that if Rangers succeeded, then the title was very much up in the air. Fuck's sake. Never learned, man.
Win this game or win the league. But of course, they were cheated out of that game, Scotty, because, I mean, Morelos only pushed them and scored. That was a goal in Hunland.
The logic, I mean...
we didn't play that well.
When I think about it, I never even mentioned it. In that 2-2 game, was that the fucking Goldson one? Remember that?
Aye.
Remember that? Fucking hell, man.
I think that was his first.
He would only have a fucking successful basketball career after that, didn't he, the cunt, man?
Every second game, now. But it was do or die, and they've got history of dying, and they did it again. So you set me up there. Even I can tap that one in. But they... the thing is,
so 3-2 win. And honestly, it was a great game of football.
I mean, Tavernier's goal, his first goal, the free kick was a belter, right? But Joe Hart should have saved it. But it was a great strike.
Right.
They played better against us at Parkhead than they'd done for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, they're still so weak. I mean, Suter, Jesus crap. Yeah. So Jota in a race with Alan McGregor. I mean,
amazing.
There's only one winner there. Nah. So they got it back to 3-2, and it was a good game, but we didn't play great. But that was a league totally finished, even to their media champions. There's no way they were coming back for that.
No. That was it, didn't buried. Yeah. So that meant Celtic extended the lead 12 points, with Celtic clinching the title and then basically giving up for the rest of the league season. The lead was cut, and Rangers actually barred Celtic at Ibrox to prove that those other defeats meant nothing, and this one showed Beale was a better man. So Rangers finished the season in second place, 7 points off Celtic, with 92 points, 35 ahead of Aberdeen in third. They at no point over the season took top spot from us.
Yep.
And the League Cup after disposing...
Since we went top of the league the night of that 3-0 game, I don't think we've ever
seeded it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in the League Cup, after disposing of Putney South, Dundee in a semi-final extra time win over Aberdeen, they faced Celtic and lost 2-1. In the Scottish Cup, after disposing of St Johnstone Party and Raith Rovers, they faced Celtic in the semi-final and lost 1-0. Yeah. And now the piece de resistance, you touched on it a minute ago. After Gio's fantastic efforts of Champions League group qualification, Rangers ended up the worst ever group side ever. Finishing bottom of a group containing Napoli, Liverpool and Ajax, losing each game with a 4-0 and a 3-1 defeat by the Dutch, 2 3-0 defeats by the Italians, and a 2-0 and a 7-1 picture-perfect home pumping from Liverpool. But it wasn't Beale's fault, as they weren't Real Madrid yet, and his famous quote before the 2-2 game was that the difference was 9 points, but as we'd only played each other once and we'd won that game, deservedly so, the difference should only be 3 points.
Correct.
I read it now, it makes as much fucking
Yeah.
sense when it came out that clown's mouth.
It made no sense then, and it makes no sense now, but he was just full of shite. He was just he was a used car salesman.
Yeah.
He was just a total fucking white boy and they all bought into it. They all bought into it. They all wanted him, and now they're all saying, "Oh, we should never have."
Yes, there's a thing.
Their pressure.
Yeah, they'll come to it a wee bit more when they end up talking to getting pumped. But they have definitely kind of, I knew he was a fucking dumb, and I knew. See, when they said this, and I was like, there's still loads of cunts out there still pining for Charles Green because he spoke the truth. Right, okay.
Aye.
So let me fire through these, mate, right? So, ins and outs over the summer. Right, so Shaggy McGregor retired, Philip Hellender was released, Ryan Kent and the Buffalo both took their bus ball and fucked off, as did Scotty Arfield. Matthias Zukalski left for Zlak Rokla. Antonio Kolak, who we spoke about earlier, he departed for Parma. Glenn Kamara left for Leeds for a reported $5 million. Sakara left for Al Fahia in Saudi for $4 million. Lewis Mail joined Kelly permanently for an undisclosed fee. Young midfielder Ben Wilson signed a loan at Partick Thistle. Eric Lowry, the same deal at Hearts. Namadi Ofoboth, who I've never fucking heard of, was released. And finally, Yanis Hadji. Do you know what? It was 2 weeks ago I was wondering where he was. I thought he was still injured. He signed a loan with Alaves. Right, so there you go. Ins. Now, this is pertinent, right? Because we've been talking about a load of these guys. Kieran Dowell was picked up on a free from Norwich. He's a 25-year-old midfielder. Dujon Sterling, a 23-year-old defender, was signed for Chelsea, again on a free. The big one, Jack Butland, was also signed on a free from Crystal Palace. The 30-year-old keeper has been captain 9 times by England. Sam Lammers, a 26-year-old former Dutch under-21 cap, was signed for Atalanta. 22-year-old Senegal international forward Abdallah Sima was signed from Brighton on loan for the season. Cyril Dessers, 29-year-old Belgian-born Nigerian forward, was picked up from Cremonese for $4.3 million. Rangers signed former Nigerian international defender Leon Balogun from Beale's old club QPR on a free. He's 35. Another forward, the 24-year-old Brazilian Danilo Pereira da Silva, was signed for Feyenoord for a fee said to be around $6 million. And finally, former Celtic target Jose Cifuentes, an Ecuadorian centre mid, 24-year-old 19 Ecuador Cats, was signed from Los Angeles FC for around $1.2 million. Right. So we've seen them all. Generally, all the guys, because that makes up most of their fucking first team. It's interesting. It was like pre-Beale and post-Beale. Butland's a standout, I think. Right.
Yep.
Well, Sima looks good, and the boy who was the one that we're all slagging? Was it Danilo? Dessers. They've always slagging Dessers. Actually, doing a job for him as well. So what? Looking at all the guys who left in and out, what are the guys that stick out for you, good or bad?
Well, Butland has obviously been their most successful signing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a step up for McGregor because McGregor was done.
Yeah.
And he's not made a huge rick yet, which, to be fair, in England he made quite a lot, which is what ended his England career and his sort of career at the top level.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got a bit of a Craig Gordon tendency of pushing shots straight back out where they came from.
Right,
and
okay.
at some point that's going to bite him. But so far he's been competent. I would say that. I mean, Saturday would be nice. If only we shot for outside the box. Get Turnbull
on, then take him off again.
Moving swiftly on, right? But he has been their most successful. Sima, probably the next most successful, scored a few goals, but he's no their player. I doubt they can afford them.
Anybody coming for that league, you've kind of got that thinking, haven't you?
Dessers, he's improved, obviously, because he's scoring a few goals, but I still think he's crap.
Right.
Lammers is atrocious.
He's fucking...
You just look. The thing is, you look at when you sign these players, and you go, and you look at them, and they played for like 14 clubs.
Mm-hmm.
They're 25, 26, or 20. You sign a 28-year-old, you never get your money back. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's it.
They're journeymen. with journeyman scoring records. They've all had one good season somewhere.
Yeah.
So not been impressed with him. Danilo started badly, looked as if he was getting there, and then he's out for the season. So who cares? Chifu, abysmal player.
Right.
Terrible.
Did your pal know scouting for us?
No, I don't know. He only tells me the good ones. So if we scouted him, well, I'm glad. All I'll say is I'm glad we didn't sign him.
Never go home.
Dowell was always injured. That was, so hard to make a saying him. Sterling just looks like they're trying to copy what they did with Bassey.
A fast boy at the back.
Fast, athletic football player. He doesn't look much of a player.
Right.
Balogun was a stopgap to fill in for Souttar's injuries. Who else did they say? I can't mind. So,
I think you've got them all there. I think you've touched them all.
Two successes, one kind of could go either way with Dessers. Most of the Huns have judged him as a fail, but let's be honest, if Carter Vickers is playing Saturday, I'm not worried about Dessers.
They're gone mental about Dowell just now, and I'll be honest, when they were talking about Dowell and they said we got a guy from Norwich, I was expecting him to be about 21 or something. I can't believe that's 25. But what they're saying is they were wanting him to play full back, and now they've dropped him into midfield, and they're saying his energy is unbelievable.
No,
seen it.
The games I've seen him, he's perennially injured, and the games I've seen him, I've not been impressed at all. I know he scored on Sunday, but so what? Maybe he will be good, but his track record doesn't suggest. He's a gem that they just need to polish up. His injury record just says he'll get injured again, and you'll not see him again for 3-4 months.
Well, that was a big thing when they signed the boy Lawrence, and everybody would say to me that Tom Lawrence is a really, really good football player, but he's just constantly injured. So if you sign a guy and he gets injured, it's like fucking hell mange, you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like who knew? It's like
who knew?
It was all there. It was all there.
It's like signing Baractor.
And it's like guys that play 3 goals for Cremonese or Atalanta. You're like, they're not going to turn into 25 a season goal striker. I don't know. Every now and then, when they're bad, you have to have a wee dive into follow. And after the first pre-season friendly, they were comparing Lammers to Laudrup.
Really?
Right? Seriously. Now, maybe it was Laudrup's more, but they were comparing them.
I thought they Laudrup the new.
Maybe, but they were comparing them to Laudrup. You're like, it's a pre-season friendly, mate. Just hold it in and actually watch him play. And they've already decided he's pish.
The daylight get up and down in the world, didn't they?
He kind of gets brought on now to try and, they're no losing, they're winning now. So he comes on for 20 minutes to try and get his confidence up. But I don't see it with him.
Right. So okay, that's pretty good, man. So you've actually watched them fucking a decent amount. So I watched them
because I thought they were going to get pumped.
Right. So squad wise, away for the new guys, who, to be fair, as we say, they kind of make up the vast majority of their team anyway. So we spoke about him. He's a top goal scorer again this season. Tavernier. I've got a respect for the guy. I don't think the disappointed part is hilarious, right? That's one of the greatest Scottish football things ever.
Can I just say I'm disappointed in you?
Disappointed. But the amount of goals he scores and big goals for them and all that, he's a danger. However, the space he leaves,
he can't defend, right? No. He can't defend, right? So, being a sailor, I concentrate on all his negatives.
Yeah.
Right? He can hit a good cross. He can hit a good free kick. He can hit a good corner. He can run all day. He's obviously losing a yard now, and he gets a lot of penalties. Let's be honest.
Oh fuck, aye.
But he's not a bad player, but he's not a great player, and he's easy to get at. Now, we have tried to stop him by playing Maeda on him, which I'm not a big fan of a defensive winger, but that's what we've tried to do. of late. I think Jota's had much more joy against him. Exactly as you say, the space he leaves, he goes wandering. Now, when they've got Jack or something, he'll cover that. But I don't see MD in their current lineup doing that. So I think he leaves too much space. He's not a good defender at all. I mean, he's scored some big goals, but he's caused a lot of big goals as well.
That's a fair comment. Next up, Lundstrom. I don't know what's the script. Is he injured?
Well, he never played on Sunday, and I don't think he was going to play the night. If it was on, I'd imagine he'll be getting the jag and stuff.
Aye.
See that? Just let him kick some.
Well, here's the one. You're talking about Tavernier or Tavernier or whatever the fuck his name is. See, Goldson, right? I watch Goldson, and I don't think I rate Goldson, but he's so fucking important to them. So important.
He's not as good as Carter Vickers, but he's got the same type of thing for them in that he holds their back four together. He's an organiser. He's the one that keeps them calm. He's the one that tells them what to do. He's the one. I can't believe the amount of penalties he gets away with. I mean, he's 6'4". He's a big unit. You tug his jersey, shouting at you, right? Now,
he turns into wee Mick.
I'll tell you, there'll be people watching us or listening to us who do know who wee Mick is, and obviously know that we all played football against each other back in the day. So many years ago, not long after a rather tousy encounter, I went to see Arcade Fire at the Glasgow Union, right? So that just shows you how long ago it was. And I was standing there with myself with a pint, and wee Mick come up and said hello to me, right? Standing talking to me. He stood beside me for the whole gig, and he says at the end of the gig, he says, "This is the longest I've stood next to you, and you've no called me a cunt."
Brilliant one.
It was I don't see him that much, but I always bump into him at gigs and all that. So I mean, we all know it was just part of football. But Goldson is a fall over and scream right now.
Yeah.
You just when you play, you just didn't do that. But I mean,
I'm hearing it more that we don't do it enough. So fucking.
Well, I think there is with VAR we maybe should, but it's I'm not want to get involved in all this conspiracy garbage, but they are getting decisions that no other team are getting. Definitely. And to be fair, the managers involved are now calling it out.
Yeah.
So that Kettlewell called it out, Robson called it out, and who was the other one? Craig Levine or something. So there were 3 decisions in the last 3 weeks that the opposition manager has said, they're getting decisions nobody else gets, and that's a fact. And it's.
Did you notice Naismith never said nothing?
I fucking hate him. So I mean, if Celtic should maybe be playing with mittens on Saturday, so we can't grab their shirt. You just have to say before you go, don't pull their shirt because they're going to fall out and scream. And you just have to be wise. Well, we're no brilliant at crosses anyway. But you have to be wise to it. Don't touch them in the box.
And Alistair Johnson's a bit iffy with it. And I'll tell you, Chris Maria was the worst in the world, man.
I mean, VAR would have killed us playing. I mean, if he'd had VAR in amateur football, I mean, you'd be doing the same. Penalties a week.
I couldn't fucking run that. I went Saturday something. Fuck's sake, man. Right, so
just watch it and you go, 10 years ago they won the penalties. And a lot of them, if the ball's sailing at his head, it shouldn't be a penalty, right? I get that he tugged the shirt, so technically it could be deemed a penalty.
But if he's not going to get the ball,
in England they kind of say, well, he wasn't getting the ball, so we'll just no call it, and we need to get that.
Yeah. And I mean, I agree with you. What was the one I was going to say there? I see with the VAR and the shirt pull and stuff. I know it would never happen. I would like an ex-ref or a ref to go and watch your game with Juventus. Remember they beat us 3-0 at Parkhead? Imagine that. Fucking hell, Celtic they won 12-3.
Aye. But I mean, the interesting one we got was this season against Feyenoord when the ref broke them up for the corner and said to the boy, if you pull his shirt, I'm getting a penalty. And as soon as the ball got hit, he pulled his shirt. He just pointed straight at the spot.
Again, that's fucking hell, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, most refs will, because you know they're all jostling and bumping into each other. Most refs will just say to you, if you do it when the ball's in play, it's a penalty.
It's a penalty.
That's your warning. Screw the bobbin.
Exactly. Aye. Last one I'll bring up. TikTok Todd. What we think? What we think about him? I mean, I watched him in the summer, mate. Right? I watched him was it in the summer? They played Newcastle. Played Newcastle in a friendly, and I was lying on the couch and I stuck it on. And I'll tell you what, he's a good football player. He's a good football player.
But it's a nice wee player.
What I say to the boys in the chat, I says, Todd Cantwell is going to cause fucking chaos this season because he goes over the ball when he tackles.
Yep.
He dives every opportunity. Plus, he's got ability in him to score some really good goals. So I thought, but I can see your man does he fancy him.
He tries too hard. He tries too hard. He wants the fans to love him. And he's like he's a badge kissing sand dancer.
Yeah.
He's got all the skill. He's a very skillful wee player. He knows he's going to get kicked, so he tries to kick you before you get him. And as you say, he goes over the ball. He dives in. He spends too much time in his arse. I mean, you know yourself. If you're going to go to ground, you need to get something. 100%. And a lot of time he gets nothing. I think if we had the English rules here, the descent and the kicking the ball away and all that stuff, he'd be getting sent off every second game. I think he's not a bad player, but I think he's a bit of a liability because he's no disciplined. He just does what he wants. And I don't see, he certainly wouldn't fit in our team.
No.
He's not a bad player. You've got to say they're no all shite. They do have some.
I think he's a danger. If he plays, he's a danger.
He could hurt you. He can see a pass, and creative players, they're not going to find that iron needle pass 10 times out of 10, but they only need to do it once.
Right. Okay. So let's look at that again. We'll fly through what they've done this season already. Right. So the season kicked halfway. Fucking a defeat away to Kelly. Nothing we fucking know about. So a horrible start for Beale's new team. 2 wins in a bounce, 4-0 humping of Livy, and then a 2-0 win over Ross County, setting up Celtic coming to town for the first Glasgow derby season. Now, again, we were wrote off fucking by everybody, I thought. A Kyogo strike very late in the first half was enough to take the points and have the fingers pointing at that used car salesman. The weeks previous, it also took its toll because it came through against Servette and then they found PSV. I think they found that PSV that you were thinking last season. But still, same fairness to them. They got a 2-2 draw at home, and I watched it and I was like, how the fuck have we managed that, man?
They didn't deserve a draw, but they got one.
No. And that was followed by a 5-1 pumping, and they departed the Champions League. Again, the team responded, 2 wins, a 2-0 away win over St Johnstone, then a nervy 1-0 home win over Motherwell. And then on the 30th of September, a home battering by Aberdeen, 3-1, meant that the next day, Beale was out, and with hindsight, a bad day for us, to be honest.
I think it was. I mean, he's Beale. I was like, I hope he stays as long as possible because he's a fucking shyster. He's they were struggling in the Europa League under him because he get beat by that Aris Limassol.
Yeah.
So if he'd have stayed on, I don't think they'd have finished third, but they certainly wouldn't have won the group. You always, when you know there's a Diddy in charge like Kashinya or something like that, you want him to stay as long as possible.
As long as possible.
Because they emptied him when they still had time to do something. They still had time to turn it around.
Yeah.
When you're hearing Frank Lampard, you're like, oh yes. Clement, he seems competent, uninspiring, but competent. So he'll get organised. And
my mate John, when they bumped Beale, and as you say, they were kind of linked with Lampard. They were kind of linked with all these big names that you knew were no fucking the thing. And when his name got linked with, I was like, that's a one I don't want him to get. And they were going to get it right at some point. They weren't going to keep appointing Cassinas and fucking Murtys and stuff like that. I mean, they weren't going to keep going that way. So, as we say,
you say they have to get one right. Whether he's right, we don't know. If you take your stats you were given us about last season, Beale hadn't lost a league game till they played us. Hadn't he dropped points in the league till he played us? And
the irony, I don't know if you watch the open goal stuff, right? So they do live shows every now and then, and I like listening to them because they sit and talk to representatives of each club, and they just fucking sit and have their usual waffle and shitey patter. But it was some boy was slagging off Beale, and the Rangers fans like, well, Beale's won 14 games in the bounce. You know what I mean? And I was sitting going, Gio Van Bronckhorst won fucking 13 games in the bounce, and look what happened to him. Do you know what I mean? Yep. So, with those stats in mind,
Clement's now in that zone now as well.
Well,
he's not won the big, but he's unbeaten in 15 games or something like that.
I'm just about to tell you, Brad. On the 15th October, a week after the 3-0 away win over St Mirren, Philip Clement, former Genk, Club Brugge and Monaco manager, would take over and really change the Ailing team. So domestically, from the 12 domestic matches in charge, he's only dropped points in Pittodrie, and in turn, we also won the League Cup earlier this month, 1-0 over Aberdeen.
Yeah.
In the Europa League, despite a defeat and draw with Aris Limassol, 2 wins over Real Betis and a win and a draw over Sparta Prague meant Rangers topped their group and qualified for the round of 16. So right now, Rangers sit in second place. 18 games played, 14 wins, 1 draw, 3 defeats. 37 goals scored, 8 conceded, and a goal difference of plus 29. 43 points board, and that leaves them 5 behind us with 2 games to play in hand. Today's game that was cancelled, obviously, with Ross County, and the Hibs game at Easter Road, which is going to be played on the 24th of January. So, no matter what you think, we're back in a title race, be it because of them or be it because of us. I think because of us, really. You know what I mean? We've fucking dropped the ball big time.
We have. We got our warning at Kilmarnock in the League Cup, as you mentioned. To go back there and lose again was just criminal. Criminal. Yeah. But not just the fact that we lost, we get bullied the whole second half.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with that is the Kyogo thing. The Kyogo thing's massive. Now, we were talking about yesterday, and I believe Brendan Rodgers, and the confidence he's got in himself, we done end of season review last year, mate, and we spoke about Kyogo only finished like fucking 13% of the games we played.
Yeah.
Right? And he touched the ball on average 15 times, and he was top goal scorer in the league.
Yeah.
And I believe Rodgers has come in and went, this wee guy's much better than touching the ball, and he wants him more involved in the game. And I appreciate that. However, what we've done now is we've taken away what made him so fucking great on their hands, because he's no in the right places now. And because the team isn't cohesive, Big O looks like a passenger 50% of the time. I mean, he'll come up with a decent game here and there, but generally, we're missing. And see that Kilmarnock game? If you've got Kyogo on the pitch and he's in the same positions that O was in, I think you win that game, despite getting bullied, despite us being shit. We should have chances.
We should have been 3 up at half time.
Yeah, exactly. And they wouldn't have come back for that.
Every game, we're not taking our chances in the first half and making it nervy for ourselves.
100%.
I mean, I think it's noticeable the last 2 games, the ones we've won, we are trying to release the ball quicker to Kyogo. We are trying to play longer passes. We're trying to put the ball over the top. We are getting the fullbacks forward to hit cutbacks, which he thrives on. But whether it's his confidence or he never took every chance. No striker does, but he's missing a few. He's missing.
That one yesterday's wild.
That's a bad miss. I mean, that is a bad miss. Kyogo last season, he scores that.
Easy peasy.
So he's no firing, and whether that's a mixture of I'm no playing is 100%, or whether Rodgers is trying to make him a 9/10, he's a penalty box striker.
Yeah.
Keep him in the penalty. Let him do his wandering offside and folk forget about him, and then he comes on side and gets the ball. Part of the problem though is we don't have the wingers to feed him. Somebody's bumped me about Palma's stats, but see that one he tried to score for the corner yesterday. I mean, that must have been just in front of you. I'm amazed that folk didn't want to go in the park and just batter him. I was like, what is he doing? Do you know what we had 23 yesterday? 23 corners.
No,
and
I know.
We don't have people that can cross a ball, and we don't have people. I mean, Palma has got a lot of assists. He's a lovely passer of the ball, but he's pretty slow. And when he gets bogged down with trying to beat his man for the third time, he ends up losing it. He doesn't release the ball as quick as Jota.
No.
He's not the same wavelength. He's not as good as Jota. He's not on the same wavelength with Kyogo that Jota was.
See the thing about Jota, right? And it's mad to say that a guy we sold for 25 million. I think because of Kyogo's goals, I mean, everybody loved Jota, right? I know, but I still think there is an element of us underrating Jota. Because you think about Jota scored in every big game we needed him. See, when you're nothing each against Ross County, the wee man would fucking date himself. He was such a good player for us.
Against St Mirren when he was fucking brutal for about an hour. He was so bad, and then he scored. He just had that ability to do something.
100 games he turned up.
He scored 2 in the Champions League. He was a top Champions League scorer. So let's be honest. I'll do it in 2 parts here. We as a club could not turn down a 25 million.
100%.
Right? Now, if that's me as a player, I'm turning it down for lots of different reasons. But he obviously thought, this will set me up for life. Now, he maybe only had to go there for a year to be set for life. I wouldn't go there for a week.
I'm with you.
But he made the decision to go. So we can't say that Celtic forced him out the door or anything like that. We had to accept the offer and leave it up to him. Now, I'd have hoped, I'd have been like, don't go. You drink the brazen head, for fuck's sake. You should know you shouldn't be going to a place like this.
I said to anybody who listens to me on this show a million times, I've never had a dividend of a transfer, so I'd rather keep a player.
Well, obviously, it's like you go back to Kenny Dalglish. If we go way back, or a call back to an hour ago, the player wanted to go. Now, if the player wants to go, like Starfelt, you have the best price you can for them.
100%.
If the player doesn't want to go, you try and do it. I mean, we've had a lot of players that were forced out the door that didn't want to go, right? Because we wouldn't pay them the money that they either thought they merited or had verbally been promised or whatever.
Gary Hooper, I see you.
Gary Hooper, you know that for a Gary Hooper did not want to go, right? So, and it was all about money, and it was all about a transfer fee that was supposed to be used to pay extra wages, and it didn't happen. But when a player does want to go, he has to go. Now, I'm not saying, but if you've got a Jota, we got for a try as you buy, £6 million. Why are we going back to £1 million punts to try and replace him? I get the transfer model, but the transfer model isn't working. But you start at $1 million like we did 10 years ago. We should be up to 8 or 9 million now in players. And we've only spent 9 million once, I think, and that was Edward, and he wasn't exactly a failure. No. We've had a couple of $5 million that we've got burnt our fingers like Barkas and Ayeti.
Yeah.
Every club's done that. You look at the Man United team last night, they've spent 80 million on guys that are absolute shite. But, we have to stop going, we bought a £5 million player before he wasn't very good.
But the thing is, though, I think in our £5 million market, it's generally been good. You go right, generally. I mean, you can't pull out the bad ones and go, tell you, doesn't what? Neil Lennon cost us $5 million, great player for Celtic. Chris Sutton cost us $6 million, great player for Celtic. John Hartson, $6 million, great player. Christopher Julian, and I appreciate things didn't finish well with him. That big boy was a great player with Celtic, in my opinion.
For his first season, he was great.
Well,
he won a goal against Lazio. He was brilliant in the air, threat at corners at both ends.
Yeah.
He was a good player. He got a horrible injury, and he wasn't the fastest to start.
And Ange gave up on him straight away. So,
aye, exactly. So once your manager doesn't believe in you or want you, you're finished. Whether
Yeah.
whether you like it or no, that.
No, I agree with you.
I talk about maybe get Scott McKenna because the Nottingham Forest sort of hierarchy don't want to deal with him anymore. No, so if we go for, say, Scott McKenna, who 5 years ago, if you'd have said to me Scott McKenna, I'd have been greeting. Now I'd take him. Right? I think he's a far better player now than he was. And he's also he's quick. We don't, and he's aerially dominant. We don't have that in any of our centre halves.
You spoke about skills. Just to jump in 2 seconds, we'll come back to that. We spoke about skills. As much as I think skills has been excellent, and I call it relatively excellent because I think we should be looking above him. But I think he's been excellent for what we expected of him. I think he gets caught under the ball for a centre half.
You lump the ball at the top of his head, and he doesn't know where to look at the ball or the man.
Yeah.
Now, whether that would come with experience, I don't. He's 25 or 26. It's like he's not a young boy.
Yeah.
He's quite. He hits a nice pass. He's a bit slow. Gets caught under the ball, and he has a defensive howler one a game that he, to be fair, most of them he gets away with. I just think I'm kind of new, and Scales should be a backup. And I want better in the team, and I think McKenna's better than him. If we're going to rid of Lager Bielka and Kobayashi and Nat Phillips, that's 3 out. We need to get one in. Yeah. And if we can get a left-footed centre half who's quick and can head a ball, that's got to be a win for us.
So, what are you hearing anything about the Polish fella?
I've heard a couple of things. Right? One was that Lager Bielka was going to go because Rodgers didn't rate him and felt that one of his biggest liabilities was pace. He was too slow. Which, why the fuck did we sign him in the first place? Well, obviously it was a favour to Starfelt's agent, but we should never have done it. So he was going to go, but they rated the Polish lad, but they felt he needed a season to settle in.
Okay, interesting.
My theory on him was he was bought as Carter Vickers' replacement next season, right? However, what I don't understand is how he's not getting on. I understood in the game when he was injured, but now he's fit. I don't understand why
he's not even been dripped in
and getting 20 minutes here and there to get him used to playing for us. Because he was all right when he started. He was brilliant, but he was all right. Lager Bielka,
he played up in Aberdeen, didn't he?
Aye, you could see that Lager Bielka. I mean, look, we won at Ibrox, and this is one. Well, come on, obviously big talk. We won at Ibrox with the centre halves, so Lager Bielka and Scales. And Ralston and Bernaby finished the game. That was our back four, right? So I know.
Michael Beale.
But, we want Carter Vickers to be playing on Saturday. 100%. But we've beaten with him before. So, and I trust Rodgers against this mob. I think him and the current squad get up for big games.
Yeah, I agree with that. Right, okay. So let's have a look at them then. Right, so I brought up Goldson earlier on. Now, Goldson went off injured against Motherwell, and he wasn't going to play today because he was a yellow card away from missing us anyway. So
see in Scotland.
Is that not the case?
In Scotland, if you get booked, your suspension doesn't kick in for 2 weeks.
Right. Well, there you go. It was a hunt that told me that, so there you sums it up.
But they make up whatever rules they want.
I suppose, aye. So Goldson's went half injured. Again, you spoke at Lundstrom. I expect he'll be getting the jab. He'll be fine. The Belgian midfielder, Raskin, he's been missing since late October. Unlikely to come back in. Danilo out in his arse. Tom Lawrence, I'm reading what's the script with him. He's done for the foreseeable. And Roof went off against St Johnstone, but again, I don't know what the script is with him. He's out as well. So we're missing these guys, but of all the guys that we spoke about, none of these guys, Danilo aside, were really in our conversation. So what do you see them lining up? How do you see them approaching the game? Because I'll be honest, I've not watched them enough. I watched the Betis game and I'm fucking bewildered how Rangers won the game, right? Honest, bewildered.
I mean, they got away with a couple of our penalties, and the one that if the ball had hit the guy there rather than there, it was a goal. Right? But I mean, they're going to line up with my predictions are Team Butland, Tavernier, Goldson, Balogun and Barisic is what I think will go for the back four. He's two holders in the midfield. I think he'll go for Lundstrom, and he's got a choice of Dowell or Sterling, and I think he'll go for Dowell because he scored. So that's 7. Cantwell will be in front of them, and you'll have Sima, Dessers, and McCausland will be in the right wing. Now, he's a diddy. No,
McCausland's a diddy.
Oh, he's rotten. He's fucking.
But he fucking played the big drum.
Oh, he's fucking right. He may be better at that than he is at football. He's fucking rotten, right? He's one of these wee fast guys, right? That because he's fast, everybody go, oh, he's brilliant. He's rubbish, right? He would be. I've got for a professional football player. For him, he's easy to mark, right? He's got no end product. You see him out across his balloons out the park. He's a wee diddy, but he'll play. I think they genuinely will believe that they can win because they've got a bit of momentum and they won in Seville, right? Now, they'll sit and go, oh, Celtic aren't playing well and they're only taking their chances. We won't, I don't think we'll play horseshoe ball against them because
that's interesting.
If a team opens up against us, like the Champions League games at home, the 3 teams we played against all try to beat us, right? And you know, we drew with Madrid, we beat Feyenoord, and we should have got a draw at worst against Lazio.
Should have got something for Lazio, yeah.
Right, so we played really well in all 3 home games against far higher standard teams because they had a go at us. And the Huns will be open at times, and it's up to us to pick them off because we've got the players to do it. And I think one of the good things about the last couple of games, apart from the clean sheets and the winning, he's finally decided who his third midfielder is, right? Instead of who's going to be, is it going to be Holm? Is it going to be Turnbull? Bernardo played in the Champions League and was all right. He wasn't brilliant, but he was all right. And I always found it weird that he couldn't get a game in the Premier League.
Everybody found it weird, mate.
But he played the last 2 games and he was good yesterday. I mean, he was all right Saturday. He was good yesterday. So he's going to be going into that game with confidence. Gregor's been better the last couple of games.
Yeah.
O'Reilly has been a bit hot and cold, but you know he's been carrying us at times this year. But we've finally got a settled midfield. Now, it would be brilliant to see somebody like Hatate on the bench and Wits, but I don't expect it. But at least...
I'll tell you what Rodgers likes doing. Rodgers likes putting guys on the bench to give them the shiters. Because remember, was it the cup final he put fucking Dembele on the bench? And I'd heard since, Dembele, no chance of making that game now.
So Abada might be on the bench, and also when Barisic runs by the bench, Abada will shout at him, I'm here. So but we've had, you're talking about there, we've got some pretty key injuries. But where we're, I still say, I mean, we need a left back, obviously. Johnson's been better the last few games. Alistair, that is. I really want Carla Vickers to play. 100%. I worry about the 2 wingers. I don't mean Palmer will create at least one chance, but Maeda is miles off it. Miles off it. But if you don't play him, and don't get it, Rodgers will play him, you're going to play him on the right or the left. And he needs to be at it for the start. You know, he's been passing about the park and trapping at 30 yards and all. It was like watching the Kerrydale B team. Fucking sometimes, and he wouldn't have got a game. I'd have hooked him off. It's like you're watching this guy's an international football player, and he's like no intelligence whatsoever.
So there's a thing you were talking about Palmer, right? And he leads back to your signing policy. Palmer's your big success of the last 2 windows. And I reckon Jota doesn't leave apart, Abada stays fit, then Palmer's fighting with James Forrest and Abada to go on the pitch. He's no taking a jersey off anybody. And I like Palmer. Exactly what you say. But let's go back to Brendan Rodgers' previous time at Celtic. From the halfway line to their box, we had Scott Sinclair who was boom, and then he would cut in. And Palmer's doing the same cut in, but he's doing it with fucking the whole team because he's fucking sauntered up the park. You know what I mean? Definitely.
He's got lovely. I mean, when he gets the space to hit a shot, he can really hit a ball. I mean, he hits a ball beautiful. which is why...
How come his corners are shit?
Exactly, for a dead ball expert, how can you know how to corner, right? He's trying to score him. We've got to go to the near post. It's like, look, just mix it up a bit. When O'Reilly hit the corners for the last 10 minutes, they were far better. But you just sit, he's got something, Palmer. He's lacking a yard of pace, obviously. And the other thing he lacks is a fullback that overlaps him.
Yeah.
Because he's always going to cut in. He needs an overlapping fullback. And Taylor does not offer that.
Again, for those who listen to this show regularly, they've heard me say this numerous times. It was kind of naive to believe that Rodgers was going to come in and play the same football that Ange played. Right? It was really naive. And I bought in. I was like, maybe he'll see. And then I was like, he's got an ego big in the fucking country. Of course he was always going to do his own fucking thing.
Yeah.
And then I looked at it and I thought Abada would be a great player for him. I thought Abada was going to have because Abada cutting in and digging the ball is which Abada's good at.
Yeah.
And Palmer's good at it as well. But as you say, we don't have the guys, the Tierney that we had who was fucking doing the doggies up and down, pulling players left and right. I mean, everybody's making excuses for Taylor because Taylor, he started cutting in. And I'm going, but he never cut in through all his time at Kilmarnock. So how the fuck has he lost the ability to do it now? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I agree with you. We definitely need to improve on the left back situation. I hear people talk about Scales doing it because he played left wing back for Charlotte Rovers, and that's a different game.
Nah, he's not. You and I are both. He's doing a good job. He's doing a lot better job than we expected. So you got to give credit for that. I don't think he's got the pace to be a left back.
No, what we need. You look at Rodgers. Sorry.
If we're playing a 3-5-2, you would play him as a left centre back, but you'd still need a left wing back. But I mean, that's assuming we don't sign somebody.
Well, that's it. You look at Rodgers again. Previous time, I've been trying not to look at the previous time in terms of negatives, but certainly how he set up his team. We aren't far away from that than now. He likes the guys cutting in. He likes the overlap. And Kieran Tierney was hugely important to him. And then as soon as he went to fucking Leicester, I think his first two signings was at the Jones and the Higgy boy, and they were the exact same two boys getting down that side. And I know it ended up going tits up for him at Leicester, but there was a point they were kind of going, this guy's fucking magnificent. Do you know what I mean? So, right, okay, mate. See, to be honest, you've done everything I'm looking for here. What's your gut feeling?
My gut feeling is we'll win. Just based on Rodgers has got a fantastic home record against them. He's got a fantastic record against them, full stop. All right, he had a couple of scabby draws, I think, with Murray, but he doesn't lose against them very often. But put it this way, I don't think we'll lose.
I'll take it.
Which I would take. Now, I expect us to win. As long as we don't lose and we reinforce in January, I think that's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, absolutely amazing, right? Before I let you go, if anybody so desires, where can they find you on social media?
Fuck Scotty, no. I mean, if I say things like every now and then about Callum McGregor, and I just get fucking helters. I don't need more phones.
Right, okay. You know what? You're trying to replace all the Australians at lost fuck's sake, mate.
I don't want to replace them either.
Right, okay.
Find me. They can find me. You gave my name out at the start. If people want to see my scabby, my sort of blurred photos of away games and fucking pints and stuff like that, and it's usually Guinness before a home game, you can find me.
Good man.
But no, a Hun. I'm delighted you asked me on to preview the Hun game, but did at least say I wasn't a Hun.
Oh, I know. And I'm now going to change it to Rangers preview because I always do Rangers and people are like, why you speak to it? And I was like, I've never spoken to Rangers fan. Why the fuck would I do it now? But right, mate. Thank you very much for taking your time. It's really, really appreciated. I hope the rest of your week goes brilliant. I hope your Saturday goes excellent. And I hope your New Year's class, man. Okay?
You, Scotty, and your fucking huge family. No doubt I'll see at least one of them at the weekend. But all the best.
I hope you mean huge family in terms of numbers rather than fucking size. Our arse is not.
You know that fucking useless brother-in-law? I am the skinniest McGarvey. He's just full of shit.
I know, but you can't even see Sean standing behind him. Right, brilliant, mate. I'll speak to you
Catch you
soon.
later, Scotty. See you after, pal.